And what I'd love everyone to tell me, just a couple of people. Rachel O'Brien, I'm gonna just call on 3 people. Tell us who you are, what your business is, and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Rachel O'Brien. I'm from my stores in St. Louis Park, Minnesota. I'm a general equipment rental company. I own it with my sister. We're second generation and we're hitting our 60th year.
Good for you. Do you have a clear vision of what you want your business to look like in 3 years?
Kind of, but it needs to be clear. And I have to thank you. Can I thank you? Because during the whole PPP ordeal, when it was starting back in March, April, May of 2020, it's thanks to you that I did that 10,000 grant thing. And it was the best piece of advice to go for it, even if you don't think you're going to get that loan or go through with the loan. So thank you.
My pleasure. My great honor to help. Thank you very much. Matthew Kelly, say hello, tell everyone where you're from, your business, and do you have a clear vision? Do you think of what you want your business to look like in 3 years? And get off of mute, please.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Very good. My name is Matthew Kelly. I'm out of York, Pennsylvania. I have a small part-time business that I'm trying to transition to full-time the end of this season. It's Undercover Tents and Tables.
Great. Thank you so much. Do you have a clear vision of what you want your business to look like in 3 years?
Yeah, I kind of have an idea. Just making it go full-time right now is my primary focus, though.
Great. Thank you. James Holcomb, please go on mute. Say hello. Tell everyone what you're from, what you do, and do you have a clear vision for your business in 3 years?
Good afternoon. I'm Jim Holcomb. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm with Associated Scaffolding, regional manager. I have been in the scaffolding industry for about 34 years, and I believe we do have a clear vision over the next 3 years.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Okay. That won't be the last time I'll be picking on some people during this conference. So turn on your videos, folks. We want to see you and have a conversation. I'm glad to be here to share an overview of this master class that we're working on with our friends at ARA on. And the master class is all about trying to figure out how big do you want your business to become, and what is your vision for your business? What's your plan? How big? How fast? How much risk do you want to take in the process? Are you the tortoise or the hare? And remember, often the tortoise wins the race. I think Jeff gave me a very gracious introduction, so I'm not going to bother to repeat. Today, we're going to talk an overview of this class. October 6th will be the first class. We'll dig it further in. October 20th, we'll teach you about how to invest in a card and try to figure out how to do all that and learnings. And November 3rd, we'll actually be developing your velocity matrix. And ARA members will have the opportunity for one-on-one coaching with me between these classes. And if you're interested in that, you can reach out to Karen Fortier at kfortier@multifunding.com, and maybe we could put her email in the chat, somebody, and she'd be happy to schedule time in my calendar. We're also going to be doing some polls today. So I'm going to ask everybody, if you have a minute, go ahead and scan that QR code. Just give yourself a minute on your cell phone. So while we go along and we do some polling, you can go ahead and answer the polls. Just give yourself a minute to do that. If you're having a problem with the polling, it is mfund@particippoll.com. And I'm going to go ahead while you're doing that and put Karen's email in the text. Okay, let's get rolling. As business owners, we're constantly making decisions about what small and big investments we need to make to grow and expand our businesses. What to invest in, people, locations, equipment, supplies, etc. And I would argue that we shouldn't make these decisions without a plan, and every plan needs a goal. Do you have a goal for your business 3 years from now? A top line and a bottom line goal? Maybe we can ask Alexander Dirk. Alexander, do you have a goal for your business 3 years from now? If you're uncomfortable, I'd love for you to just unmute and share your thoughts.
Ami, I work for ARA. I don't think I'm a good one to ask.
I'm sorry. I
Sorry.
should have known that. I apologize. How about you, Brittany Bruno? Do you have a goal for your business 3 years from now? Do you clear about what that is?
I'm sure Dad does.
Okay. All right. How about Cheryl Olstad? Or D. Sanchez? Okay. It's always important to be working towards a goal. It's really difficult to have a plan without a goal. Whatever your goal is, it's going to require investments to make that goal. And then the question is, are you making them fast enough? And do you have the right capital structure in place to support your goals? What we've learned is that it's difficult to do all this without taking a start and looking in the rearview mirror. So my question for each of you in the polls is, what investments did you make in your business in the last year? And that should come up in your polls that you can pull up at mfund.participole.com, or maybe Ali can put the QR code in the chat. But have you invested in people, marketing, equipment, products, real estate, other? Take a minute and just think about what investments you've made in your business in the last year. Just wait for a few more answers, and you can answer more than one, because we've all probably made more than one investment. And of the people we've answered so far, we see, not surprising in your industry, a lot of investments in equipment, also a good amount of investment in people and products. As we make these investments, some of them are quite measurable. You buy new equipment, is it renting or not? Opening a new location, are people coming or not? Hire new salespeople, are they selling or not? Do a direct mail campaign, is it converting or not? But then sometimes also as leaders, we're called upon to make more intangible investments that are more difficult to read. Branding, employee training, or new CRM systems. What I'd love you to think about to get ready for all these classes is to start looking at your financial statements a little bit differently. Today, when we look at our P&L on the top, we have our variable expenses, everything that tied to the cost of goods sold for the products or services that we sell. And the bottom is everything else. What I'd like to suggest is that we break down the bottom between operating expenses and investment expenses. Investment expenses being the money we spend because we want to, but we don't have to. The money we spend on trying new things to grow and expand. If you think it's important to track how much you are investing in your business every year, the first step is to actually go back into your accounting system, or do it yourself, or have your controller, your bookkeeper, or your CFO do it, and actually tag all the expenses you're spending as investment expenses, spending on stuff that because you want to, but you don't necessarily have to. We did that for our company in multi-funding. We looked in the rearview mirror, and we found that we were spending $300,000 in the last year on trying to grow and expand our company. And that was quite a big epiphany for me. If I wasn't investing in my business, I would have an extra $300,000 in my pocket. That's a lot of money. And where was that money going? Where was I spending it? What was I doing? How was I tracking it? The question for you is, how much of your expenses do you think you are spending on your investment expenses? And I know it's not going to be precise. It might be a concept you've never really thought about before. But if you're spending 0 to 5%, you're pretty conservative. 5 to 20%, you're pretty measured. And 20 to 100%, you're pretty aggressive. Take a minute if you can and put it in how much it is. And of those who have responded, we see that Most people are pretty conservative in their approach and how they're investing in their business. And the question about that is that comfortable for you? Do you think that that is the right approach? How do you track all of your investments and all that you do? Can you tell me how you are tracking the 3 biggest investments you made last year? We went ahead, and this is one of the things we'll be teaching in the masterclass about how to do this, encouraging everyone to do for yourself. We made a scorecard. We broke it down into the different projects we've invested in, what we spent. Are they measurable? Are we happy that we did it? Trying to get a handle on different expenses, where the money's going, understanding that some of them we can measure and some of them we can't. And at least on the baseline, having a sense, are we happy that we did these things? Take each project and break it down. Hired a new marketing lead this year to gain exposure and bring in new leads. What are their costs? Am I happy that I did it? Can I track it? Should I do more of it or less? Set a timeline for each investment that you make. How long do you think it will take to see a return on the investment? Have monthly or quarterly check-ins. After that time, evaluate. Keep in mind that some investments won't have a return on investment. That's okay. Judge the risk of not making that investment. We redid our website. It had been a long time. We'll never know for sure what the return on that investment was, but we felt it was something that was important to do. Also, take some time to reflect. Thinking about the biggest investments you made this past year, would you do it again? And if not, what have you learned? Can you think of an investment that was a disaster? I certainly have a few. And if not, are you being too conservative? Everything we invest in our business shouldn't work out exactly as planned. And perhaps the biggest question, I'm going to ask you to put this in the polls, is do you think you will meet your 3-year goal if you continue investing the same way as you did last year? And that's a yes or no. Do you think you will meet your 3-year goal if you continue investing the same way you did last year? Please answer that in the polls. And for those who are having a tough time getting in the polls, the URL is in the chat. Do you think you will meet your 3-year goal if you continue investing the same way you did last year? And happy to see that most responders are yes, which is great. Just something else to think about. I want to take a pause and ask anyone if they have any questions before we continue. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or just speak it out. We have 20 people here. We can handle it. Anyone have any questions? Feel free to holler. Questions are going once. Questions are going twice. We're going to be moving on. The next part of our presentation is about stretching your limits. As we decide how we want to invest in our business, a lot of it is, as we spend money, we are taking risk. And each of us makes our decisions about risk in different ways at different times. We have the left side and the right side of our brain. We have what our feelings and our emotions and our egos and our historical experiences with money tell us. And then we have the spreadsheets and the models and the forecasts and the projections. And what we do is we mush this up and we make our decisions a little bit differently every time. We each have a different risk tolerance. Also, this changes over time. Some of us are extremely risk adverse. We really don't want to take risk for our company, or we want to keep business and personal assets really separate. And other of us would almost sell our firstborn to the company in that the extreme of risk being risk flexible. One way to think about it is, would you put a lien in your house for a loan for your business? If that case, you're risk flexible. If you don't want to personally guarantee any debt, you might be risk adverse. So how would you define your risk tolerance? And for those who've responded, It's a mix between A, B, and C. It's important to know that nobody is right or wrong about this. It's all a little bit different, all depending on your mindset. Keep in mind that sometimes people take a great amount of risk early on in their business, and then they get through those tortures for few years, and they don't want to take on debt anymore. But sometimes when you've really figured out your model, that's the time to put this pedal to the metal, put the flame on the fire. One of the things you need to think about is what drives your business, what makes your business grow, and also what's restraining your company's growth. If you think about it, and maybe some comfortable people will be comfortable to share this, what investments are required to push past those restraints and meet your goals? A question for participants, and maybe I could start with Brian Gray. Brian, if you if you wanted to get more sales, what would you need to do? I think Brian's on mute. Would anyone like to answer that? If you needed to get more sales, or your goal is to get more sales for your business, what would you need to do? What investments?
Advertise.
Advertise. Okay. Anybody else?
More equipment.
More equipment. So advertise and equipment. That's the balancing act. You need equipment and you need to advertise, or maybe have more salespeople. Can cash alone provide the capital needed to make these investments and grow your business? How are you going to finance these and do them? And what are the restraints that are limiting back? Another way to ask the question is, if Uncle Joe gave you $1 million today, and he said, you have this money to invest in your business, and if you don't, he's going to take it back, but you have to spend the money on things that you're not doing today. What would you do with the money? Any thoughts about that question? If Uncle Joe gave you $1 million today and said you have a year to invest it in your business, that if your things that you're doing today, and if not, he's going to take it back, what would you do with the money? Anyone care to answer that? Marley Kane, care to answer that question? Or Justin Harrison?
I mean, I'm going to pay off stuff. Pay off stuff. I mean, expand to where I want to be, and then pay off. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to use the money if he's going to take it away.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about building a velocity matrix. Building a velocity matrix is working on 3 plans for your company, and then deciding the plan or the path that's best for you and makes you feel most comfortable. It's based on a 1X plan, a 3X plan, and a 2X plan, all based on what you invested last year. We're going to do an example of Rent to Impress, which is a party and events rental company that's $4 million in sales the last 12 months. The owner's profit was $400,000. And over the last 12 months, $300,000 was invested back into the business using cash flow. So the owner was able to take home $400,000. They also took another $300,000 and invested it back in their business. Rent to Impress's goal is to be a $6 million business in 3 years with $600,000 worth of profit, which would theoretically make their business worth $2.4 million at a 4X multiple. In the first plan for Rent to Impress is to stay with the same allocation. What does that mean? They're going to, just like they invested $300,000 last year, they're going to invest $300,000 this year. They would hire a new senior vice president of account management, purchase more rental supplies, and invest in a salesperson. That would be their goal for business as usual. And if they kept up at the $300,000 investment level, they believe they would be on track to be a $6 million business in 3 years, $600,000 worth of profit, their business being worth $2.4 million. Bear with me 1 second, folks. But then we said to plan to impress. Let's push your boundaries. Let's stretch your limits. You're not going to invest $300,000 last year in this year the same way as you did last year. Let's go ahead and invest 9. You're going to triple your desired future investment. You're going to really go shopping. Keep in mind, they have to think about the back end and the front end. If they increase their sales, they also have to have the product and the inventory to rent. And so sure enough, they have a whole list of things that they want to do: rental supplies, new electronic rental, sales representatives, more account managers on the $900,000 investment level. And if they invest at that level, they believe they'll be on track to be a $10 million business in 3 years with $1 million of top line or of profit, making their business worth $4 million. But then we said to Party to Impress, not so quick. Santa's not going to be so kind. You don't have $900,000 to invest. You only have $600,000 to invest. So you have to prioritize your investments. And so what are they going to do? They have to cut, and at $600,000, they cut some people out and they make a new budget. And based on this level, they can now see what their 2X plan would look like. It would make them an $8 million company. So now they've laid out 3 plans, and they have to start thinking about which one of them makes the most sense for them. How are you going to finance them? A question for each of you is, how have you paid for most of your investments in the past? Have you grown your business just through cash flow? Have you taken out loans? Have you got equity injections, or have you doing anything else? If you can, please answer that in the polls. Cash flow, loan, equity injection, or something else. And for those who've answered us, it's a little bit of a combination of everything. Do you know of all your options if you wanted to use capital to grow your business that are out there for your future investments? Do you understand debt, SBA loans, bank loans, mezzanine debt, equipment debt? Do you understand the implications or opportunities or risks of bringing in a partner with or an investor? And do you understand, or do you have the best line of credit to grow and expand your business? I want to just take 2 minutes and give a little briefer about the SBA, which I believe is one of the best kept secrets in government. There are 3 big myths about the SBA. The one is that the SBA lends money. People sometimes think the SBA lends money, and the only time the SBA does lend money is in the case of the EIDL program that the country we just went through. But in the ordinary course of businesses, the SBA does not lend money. They have a program that gives insurance to banks to encourage banks and some non-bank lenders to take riskier loans than they otherwise would. The other myth is that the SBA is only for small mom and pop shops, like the little flower shop down the street. And while it is correct that I've seen small SBA loans as small as $1,000, you can go up to $5 million for partner buyouts, working capital acquisitions, up to $12.8 million for owner-occupied real estate or equipment. If you slap a solar panel on that sucker, you can go to 25.6. And the third place people get messed up in SBA loans is they think they're not qualified for an SBA loan according to their bank, forgetting that if one bank says no to an SBA loan, that doesn't mean that the bank down the street won't say yes. You can use an SBA loan to buy a partner or acquire business, expansion, growth capital, refinance debt, start a business, buy a franchise, finance equipment purchases, or buy a refinance or construct an owner-occupied building. Let's dig into what Rent to Impress's options are. If the owner wants to continue investing at the $300,000 level, that can sustain that through cash flow. They want to do the $600,000 investment level. They have a $300,000 hole to fill. They have $300,000 of cash, but they need another $300,000. They can do that with a 10-year SBA loan at 8.25% interest with a monthly payment of $36.80 and no lien on the house. If they wanted to go for the platinum plan, the $900,000 investment level, that would need to be funded with either a $600,000 10-year SBA loan at 8.25% interest, the monthly payment of $7,360, and the lien on their house because it's over $350,000, or an equity investor would be willing to put in $600,000 for 20%. These are the options that Rent to Impress has. And what we've done now, what we will do for each of you in the masterclass is help you complete your velocity matrix. So you can understand different growth options and the pros and cons of the different approaches and decide which one is best for you. Keep in mind that as owners and leaders of our companies, all the decisions that we make have a different risk and reward. For Rent to Impress, the trade-off between option 1 and 3 is it worth the risk of a monthly payment of $36.80 a month for 10 years to potentially increase the value of their business by $800,000? Or is it worth the risk of a monthly payment of $73.60 a month for 10 years to potentially increase the value of the business by $1.6 million? Or is it worth it to sell 20% of the company to potentially increase the value by $1.6 million? I always caution people to beware the Shark Tank myth. When you are thinking about taking on an equity investor, keep in mind that you're getting married or married again. This comes with inherent risks and opportunities. If you were advising this party event place, what would you do? Please put it in the polls. If you were in their shoes, would you do the 1X cash flow plan and just keep investing at $300,000 a year? Would you do the 3X SBA plan, go for the $900,000 and really try to go all out, but have a monthly payment of $73.60 and a lien on your house? Would you do the 2X SBA plan or the $600,000 investment? Or would you do the 3X equity plan? Go ahead and put in your answers. And in this case, most people would do the 2X SBA plan, and other people would just keep going what they're going. No one's right or wrong, but these are different approaches to consider. Don't make a financing decision without knowing your numbers, understanding what the options and alternatives you are, depending on how fast you want to grow. Let's review, friends, what we've talked about. What is your goal 3 years from now? It's very difficult to build a plan without a goal. So without a clear goal for your business, you're just kind of going to be moving in the dark. What investments did you make in the last 12 months? Are you conservative, measured, or aggressive in your approach to your investments? And are you happy with that? How are you tracking your investments? How did you do over the past year? Are you on track to meet your 3-year goal? What is your risk tolerance? And is your risk tolerance impacting your growth goals for your company? And I encourage you each all to build your velocity matrix, evaluating the risk and return of the different options and alternatives, and coming clarity on a growth plan that will be comfortable for you. I hope you'll be interested in participating in our masterclass. And at the end of all this, you will come up with your own velocity matrix, your own 3 growth lanes to be able to pick and choose which path is best for you and get comfortable with it. What you can do, what homework you can do to prepare for your first class is go into your accounting system and tag all of your investment expenses over the past 12 months. So we can try to start to understand and see where you've been spending the money. That is the presentation for today. If you want to receive the slides, there's a QR code to do it. But more importantly, I want to take the chance to answer any questions that you might have about any of this. You can feel free to put the questions in the chat or simply raise your hand or shout out or just say hello. Any questions, please let us know them. Any questions? Man, you guys are quiet. Well, why we flip the question around to you, I'm going to ask, stop my share. And I'm going to go around the screen. And I'm going to ask James Holcomb, what did you learn today, if anything? Please go on unmute. And I ask everyone who's comfortable to please turn on your video. James, what did you learn today?
Learn, I don't know how to work this computer. Well, I just kind of listened and learned a little bit about different techniques of different things you can do to grow your business.
Okay. It's trying to build a plan, trying to grow with a plan. That's the idea.
Absolutely.
Matthew Kelly, how about you?
Yeah, I think I need to, in order to meet my goal over the next 3 years, I need to change my perspective on risk adversity. I'm pretty conservative, and I purchased all of my equipment with cash at this point. And for me to grow threefold over the next couple of years, I need to flip the script and actually seek out some lending.
Okay. Rachel O'Brien, how about you?
I need to figure out my risk tolerance because I'm conservative right now, seeing if I can push to a higher level.
What I would say to all of you who are saying about that is the most important thing is sleeping well at night. So if the thought of a lot of debt really frightens you, it's going to make you give a lot of acts, slow down your growth. If you can get comfortable with it, do it. Don't do something that's going to make you completely uncomfortable. James Padula, are you there, my friend? James or Brittany or Suzik, anything for us? James has no mic. Okay. Brittany, anything for us? Suzik. Brittany's on the phone. Suzik, any follow-up or any feedback for us? Daniel, anything for us? Jeffrey. Paul's in New Zealand. Thank you for your note. Marlee, any feedback or anything for us? Paul Harrison added a note into the chat that said, the ability to use equipment financing and modeling is invaluable. Absolutely. Okay. If no one has anything else, we're going to end this up a little bit early. Give you guys 20 minutes of your lunch break back. Thank you for joining us. The next session you'll get a note about is October 6th. It will take some work to work through these tools. But if you can do it, I promise you, you'll leave with a clearer, more concise plan about the next steps you want to take over the next couple of years to grow and expand your business. Anyone else have any questions or any thoughts or anything they want to share? Okay, I hope you find this valuable. Jeff, thank you and Alex, thank you for putting it together. And Jeff, unless you have anything else, I think we'll give everyone 20 minutes of their day back.
No, I think that's it. I will be sending out a copy of the recording for everybody. And then you'll also receive the information about the 3 upcoming courses or classes that AMI will be providing for our members. And hopefully you guys find great value out of it. So thanks for joining us today, and be on the lookout for our next one next month. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you. Jeff, you good?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Thanks, Ami.
Talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.